I found out that just naturally being yourself, it's the best way to ever live your life. And you may ask, how can I truly be myself? How can I really find myself? So, this is what you have to do. First, you need to isolate yourself. If you have any friends that you have, you need to take a step back away from them and you need to find out what you truly like about yourself and how you can handle yourself in different situations like being alone, you know, not having anybody to rely on, just you need to just take a step back from having a lot of people in your life, having a lot of people who influence you. And, this is one of the toughest things that you can ever do because you may be so used to having other people's opinions about certain things, but once you take yourself accountable and really like understand that you only have yourself at the end of the day and your decisions affect your life in the long run, once you really sit down and try to understand that, it takes a lot of like energy to, really try to understand yourself. And so when you do this isolation process, you're gonna you're gonna figure out new hobbies that you like to do. You're really gonna explore yourself. You might be an artist. You might start drawing. You might start making music. You might be someone like me who starts or is trying to become like a motivational speaker, I guess. So you might try and talk to other people. You might try to read a book. You might try to write a book. You might just do things that you wouldn't expect yourself to normally do when you're found in isolation. I know for me, when I first did my isolation process, it was really hard because, I used to be back in school. I was one of those people that was like the class clown, right? So I always wanted to make people laugh. I always, wanted to have people around me. But when I truly got to learn myself, I found out that I was like more of an introvert. And this is like when I first started, I became way more of an introvert because I realized that, you know, when I was trying to do things for other people, when I was found in my isolation process, they were like nowhere to be found. They were nowhere to, hit me up. They was nowhere to be like, yo, how you been? We haven't talked in a while. You know, they wasn't really my friends. They was just my friends in the moment, I guess you could say, or they was just my friends in the situation we just both happened to be in. So when you in this isolation phase, you'll really get to see who your friends are. You'll really get to see who's there for you, and if you tell your friends that you just want to take a step back and really try to find out who you are for yourself, and they start to judge you or they start to make fun of you, those people were never your friends in the first place. So don't feel bad if you start to lose friends, because when you go into this isolation process trying to find who you really are, you will lose friends, I guarantee you. You might even lose family members because a lot of people, don't like what they can't understand. So a lot of people won't understand why you're doing this because a lot of people don't like to take accountability for themselves. They don't like to figure out what they're doing wrong. They don't like to learn how to improve. A lot of people just put their blame on something else, or they act like they can't control certain things, which is true. You can't control a lot of things, but you can control what you do for yourself, and you can't control how to become your best self. So that's something you will do. You will lose a lot of friends and family. You will have, people judge you every day, but people will especially start to judge you now because you're in a different category. And so when you go through this process, you're going to be in a different category. You're going to be a person who, when you're in isolation, there's a lot of people who think that being alone is bad. So they'll be like, oh, I always see him alone. He must be a loser. Oh, he must not have no friends. Like, you're going to have people who think like that. Obviously, it's not true, but when you're alone, you're gonna be seen in this different category. Some people might think you're ignorant. Some people might think they might think that you're too good for others. I've been through all this. They always got something to say, but what the crazy thing is you're gonna get judged regardless. Even if you're trying to be, a people pleaser, anything you do, you're gonna be judged regardless. Because when you're trying to be a people pleaser, they're gonna be like, oh, he's just trying to make everybody happy. Oh, she's just trying to have all the friends. Oh, da da da. You know, they're always gonna judge you for something. So what you need to do for yourself is do the best thing for yourself, and because if you're doing what makes you happy, being judged, it won't even matter because they don't really know your true self in the first place. So this is what I always think when people are judging me, because you get judged every day. Everyone judges you, even if it's unconsciously. Everyone is judging you. What I just say to myself is, one, I might not ever see them again. Two, they don't even know the real me. And three, it is what it is. It is what it is. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna say? It's nothing that can really harm you. So keep that in mind when you're in this isolation process. You will be in a different category. And to add more to that, section, people will start to look at you different when you start bettering yourself, because when you're deep in this isolation phase, you will start doing things to help better yourself. Like, one thing that I did was go to the gym. I used to be like super overweight, and I got to this point where I was just like super sick of it, so I had to do everything. So, you know, when you start to better yourself, it could be taking care of your skin. I started doing that too when I was in this isolation phase. I just wanted to be my best self. I wanted to, just do everything to help me. So people will start to look at you way differently when you are alone in this journey. So just be aware of that. And so the next thing, when you're in this isolation phase, you will gain a lot of wisdom. You will gain a lot of knowledge. And this is because you'll start to see the world differently. So when you with a whole bunch of people, when you're in a crowd, you're influenced by, the people who are surrounding you. So you're starting to think like them, and that's a real thing. You become what you are put around, right? So you will start to think like the people you are around. But when you're in this isolation phase, you'll start to be more like single-minded. You'll start to like rationally think about things. You'll start to think things for yourself. You'll start to make like your own decisions. So what someone might think of like something, it's hard to explain. What someone might think is weird to them, it might not be weird to you, because like you'll start seeing the world differently. You'll start seeing situations differently. Your whole mindset, everything about you will be different. So keep that in mind when you're on this isolation phase. And that's just a few steps you can do to be yourself. Now, the actual benefits of being yourself is, you won't feel uncomfortable around people. You won't feel uncomfortable because you know what you like. You know what you like to be around. You know your surroundings. You know what you like to deal with. So you won't feel naturally uncomfortable when you're in a situation that you don't want to be around. Like, you'll know for yourself that you don't want to be here. And when I was me now, I'm fully myself. So I found my best relationships when I was just trying to be myself, because there's people that you won't get along with. There's people that you won't really connect with because you're just naturally being yourself. So when I've lost certain people that I've met in the past, I just thought, well, it is what it is, because I have myself at the end of the day. So I'm not really worried about who leaves and enters my life and all that stuff. So when you do that, it's just a thing that comes and goes. Your mindset about stuff is way different. And so keep that in mind. Being yourself, a lot of people will respect and a lot of people will hate you, because when you're in your own lane, a lot of people can see that. A lot of people will respect it. But you're going to have people on the side that hate it, because they're going to be like, oh, he thinks he's better than everybody else. Oh, she thinks she's all that. Like, you're just going to have people who hate on you regardless. And keep that in mind. You're going to have people who hate on you regardless, because it's life, right? But it will be really strong when you're really taking like 100%, like you're really putting 100% in yourself, because a lot of people don't even put 60. So you will get a lot of hate from a lot of people. You will get a lot of negative stares, a lot of negative glares, but there's going to be there's gonna be a certain amount of people who respect you. So keep those. You gotta uplift those people. You gotta motivate those people. So that's what I try to do. And it's a hard life out here. But when you're trying to be yourself, it's not easy at all because you're gonna have a lot of people who are gonna try to influence you to do certain things. You're gonna have a lot of people who try to influence you to do bad. Try to break you out your shell. But if you're true to yourself, you'll learn how to decipher it. You'll learn how to work away around those certain issues. So you got this. But that's just a few things to be aware of, and just keep this stuff in mind when you're on your journey. It's not easy at all. It's not an easy process. This will not happen overnight. Unless you be This will happen overnight if you get into a tragic situation that requires you to change your whole mindset about everything. So that happened to me. I got into like a tragic situation. Literally the next day I turned into a different person. So that's the only way it'll happen overnight. But other than that, it's going to be a long process to really learn about yourself. And you know, don't rush the process because you got to be there for you at the end of the day. When you die, when you wake up, when you eat, when you sleep, when you shower, you got to be there for you. So why not be your best self? So that's all I got to say. So do your best and be safe out here.